Artists, today we are going to start working on our Groovy lava lamps. We are going to be studying a topic known as contrast. Contrast is the arrangement of opposites. For instance, light versus dark, rough versus smooth, or large versus small. Let's take a look at our two pictures here. The one on the right seems to stand out much better than the one on the left because of contrast. Notice the dark blue sky versus the white snow. Notice the gray wolf against the blue sky. Also, did you notice that the wolf is large and the trees are skinny? How about the furry wolf fur versus the rough tree bark and the smooth snow? Contrast can also be created by thinking about color. In order to help us figure out colors that have contrasts, we use a tool called a color wheel. A color wheel helps an artist know the relationship between colors. In order to find contrast in colors, we want to work with something called complementary colors. In order to have contrast in colors or opposites, complementary colors are opposite on the color wheel. Let's take a look at purple. What color is directly diagonal from purple? If you guessed yellow, you are correct. Let's take a look at red. What is opposite of red or red's complementary color? If you guessed green, you're correct. Let's take a look at the color blue. What color is directly opposite of blue on the color wheel? All of these colors are called complementary colors when they are opposites of each other. Complementary colors are going to be what helps us create contrast with our lava lamps. Let's take a look at my lava lamp and the colors that I used. My liquid for the lava lamp is a blue purple. The opposite of purple is, yellow. And the opposite of blue is orange. Therefore, I use these complementary colors to help create contrast. To begin, you're going to have two pieces of paper and you're going to write your name on both. On one piece of paper, you're going to be painting the lava liquid. You're going to be working with liquid watercolor, so one tray is going to have your cool colors, which I'm using now. You'll open up your liquid watercolors and then you're going to choose your first color for your liquid. As you work, make sure you're cleaning your brush, but the first thing we're going to do is start with clean water and wet a large portion of our paper. You're going to dab the liquid watercolor into the water that you've already placed on the paper. This is called a wet on wet technique, meaning we have wet paper and wet paint. I'm then going to go back and add water to another section. Notice how if the water touches the paint, it pulls it and makes these beautiful puddles of paint. Notice how I'm using purple and blue. Those colors are next to each other on the color wheel. We know that they're going to blend really nicely together. You can keep tapping your brush, adding some different colors, and then adding more water, clean water, to the bottom of your paper and work down. Notice how I'm just tapping gently water and it pools and spreads into these beautiful little orbs of color. As I'm working, I'm looking for areas that I might think need a little bit more color, trying to cover the white. I'll wipe my brush on the sponge in order to get any extra paint off. The trick is to not use too much water, but at the end, if you do have a little water, it is interesting to lift up your paper and slightly tilt the paper and notice how the water will move around. The trick to this is not doing it too much. When you're done with that, you're going to then switch your colors out and think about what the complementary color is going to be for the bubbles. So I used blue and purple. What colors should I use for my complementary colors? So now I'm going to want to make sure my name is on my second piece of paper, and this is where I might write bubbles. These will be my lava bubbles. Remember, I'm using complementary colors, so I started with purple and blue. Now I'm going to want to use their complements, or yellow and orange. I'll do the same process by wetting my paper first, because this is the wet on wet technique, and I will start making dabs of color in different areas of the section that I already wet. I'll keep adding water to the dry spot of the paper, and if your water starts getting a little dirty, feel free to go to the sink, empty it out, and get fresh water to work with. Notice how I'm wetting the paper fairly quickly because I don't want it to dry. I want those wet little spots of color to pool out and make those really pretty puddles. When I feel like I've added enough paint, I can slightly tilt my paper if I would like to see how I can make some of those colors mix together even more. Make sure you do this really gently. When you're finished, you're going to cover all of your paints. Bring your paintings carefully to the drying rack, making sure you're holding them flat, and put away your paintbrushes and water cups in the proper location by the sink.